Hi, welcome to Stitchity Doodle. I am Gail and I am my sidekick. Miko is here with us today. If you like gaming and you like amigurumi, you might want to stick around and keep watching. Before we get started, I'd like to say a couple of thank yous. First one is to Miss Jane of Scraptastic Yarns. She gave us a shout out, I think last week sometime. Yeah, this all happened this past week. And then the second one is also to Miss Crystal of Chronically Crocheting. They both gave this channel a shout out and they were very generous in their words and compliments and sent majority of you folks, probably 99.9% of you over. So thank you for listening to their shout outs and being curious enough to click on over to our channel and watch our videos and even like, comment, and some of you have even subscribed, so thank you and welcome back to our channel. So let's get started. So this week, I'll be honest, I have not been very productive as far as numbers. I've been very productive. Had a lot of crochet time, but the number of finished objects is not as great as the previous 2 weeks. But a very kind and generous viewer has mentioned it really doesn't matter how many you complete in a week, as each one is a step closer to finishing off your UFO pile. So thank you very much, Miss Karen. Yes, you are absolutely right. And so because of that comment, I feel much better. So my first finished object is Punchy. He, she, it.
Whatever
Again,
gender it may be.
I don't play the game, but it is from Animal Crossing, and it's this cat. And let's see. The designer is SheaCrochetXX. If you watched last week's video, I crocheted or I finished a Animal Crossing player, and she designed all of the Animal Crossing dolls that I'll be showing you today, and I will have everything linked down below. But this is Punchy, and it took me an entire day to finish. Why? Because it looked almost finished the last time you saw it, if you watched my first video. But I did its ears, just the felt part. I did its eyes, also made of felt, and it's glued. I stitched on or embroidered the whiskers and the mouth. I also added on the cherry, and then the foot pads, toe beans, toe beans. And the reason why it took me so long is because I experimented. I tried cutting out felt, I put it on, and then I tried needle felting it on to make it stick instead of gluing it on, and I didn't like it. It gave the edges really jaggedy edges. It wasn't clean of a line, and I didn't like that look. I will try to insert a picture if I have one somewhere. And so then I tried attempt number 2. I tried cutting the felt and then sewing it on with either thread or embroidery floss. And it was okay, but again, I wasn't happy. And so what I ended up doing was cutting the felt, and I ended up gluing it on. And I think it came out okay. It is much better than the other methods that I had attempted, and it looks decent. It looks nice and clean. The edges are nice and clean. Also, I'm not sure if for those of you who have tried cutting felt. For me, I find it difficult. If you're doing straight lines, I think it's easy. But if you're doing intricate small cuts, especially curves, I find it challenging. And Miko's over here. Yes, it is. It's because the fabric is thicker than normal fabric, and so it's harder, I find, especially if it's smaller details. Like this circle was challenging for me to cut, and then these little details, if I were to have to cut that out of felt, forget about it. So what I did was I painted on here. This is acrylic paint on top of the felt, and I am super happy with how this came out. It feels super hard, like it hardened on there. Can you hear that? It's super hard, but I love the way that it came out. And these pads, super hard to cut, super small. Like look, it's the size of my fingernail, or smaller than my fingernail. But yeah, so it was a lot of trial and error, figuring out how to do things that made this whole entire process one whole entire day to finish. But I am super happy with Punchy. It came out really cool and I love it. Okay, my second finished object is Isabelle. She also comes from Animal Crossing and also from the same designer. And she has a little bell. I didn't realize, but Miko says that's probably where her name comes from. Isabelle, get it? I have no idea. But I love choosing her on Mario Kart when I do play her. So for Miss Isabelle, I took, again, one day. She has teeny tiny details, like her buttons were super tiny. And then there's this little, kind of in this section, not collar, but whatever that was, there's this tiny little piece of felt. And then there's this tiny little felt, and then so circular, ovalish, tiny little details take me a while. That was difficult to do. But by this time, I had already known what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna cut it out and I'm gonna glue it on. So I knew. Not as much experimentation in that respect, but I did have to cut a lot of small detailed felt, which I'm not used to, and so it took me a while. To finish her, I did her eyes, eyebrows. Well, I don't know if that's her eyebrows or her eyelashes. Eyeliner maybe, I don't know. This part. Her mouth, her cheeks, the little bow had to be glued on, that little chest piece I was talking about, and her tiny little buttons. I also attached the bell in the back. I think I did it with, yeah, it looks like yarn, the same yarn that I used here. Also, one of her ears were missing. It wasn't attached yet, and the other one had some loose ends that still needed to be weaved in, so I had to attach that one loose ear. And yeah, that was it. So here's Miss Isabelle. So she came out super cute. I am loving her as well. And I think she's my favorite Animal Crossing character. Not that I know many of them, but she's cute. My third finished object is Tom Nook. And I think he's a raccoon. Yeah, looks like a raccoon, but different colors. And he's quite posh with his, what is this, Argyle sweater? I'm calling it Argyle. If it's not, comment down below. But he is also from the same designer. And he took me 3 hours. So my third project with felt details cut down the work time. So what I did on this guy is his eyes, his collar area, there's a little bit of felt here behind, and then there's this red, deep red necktie, and then a little bit of yarn detailing here to make like his neckline. Also gave him his Argyle sweater that wasn't there. Yep, and then that was it. Some yarn tails that needed to be weaved in, but other than that, that was it. And he took me all of 3 hours to finish. Not too bad. And my last finished object is Ketchup! Isn't it so cute? It's got a tomato head and a hot dog belly. Isn't that so adorable? Okay, so Ketchup, again from the same designer. It took me 3 hours, and I had to do its tail. That wasn't crocheted or anything, so I had to crochet it up and attach it. I gave him his eyes. I believe he only had one eye last time you saw him. It might have been pinned into place. And also, it was needle felted, or attempted to be needle felted, and I had to peel that off. And again, I ended up cutting the felt and gluing it on. So I'm super happy with how that turned out. I also had to wet block, if you will, his beak and his arms, because his arms were spread out this way and his beak was wonky or kind of twisted, and so I had to kind of wet block it so it would stay straight with so I wet him, and then I stuck T-pins in certain places to keep it straight, and it looks way better. Let's see, what else did I do? I gave him his hot dog chest, and he's got mustard, so cute. I attached his wings. Actually, he only had one wing. I didn't even finish crocheting the second one, so I had to crochet up the second one and attach that. His legs were not attached, but the legs were already made, already crocheted, so I had to attach those. And that was it. And he took me all of 3 hours. And I think it is probably my second favorite character until I start discovering more. I love Animal Crossing because of their characters. They are just so cute.
You just said they don't play it.
I don't, but I see pictures of them and I'm like, I want to make that and I want to make that. And so
I know nothing about them. I don't even know their gender, what they are, but you know.
They're its. This is an it. Punchy's an it. It had cherries on its belly, but it doesn't matter. They're all cute. So truth be told, I do have other patterns of SheaCrochetXX in my arsenal, and I have yet to crochet them. So stay tuned and see if there are more Animal Crossing amigurumi to be made on this channel. One more thing I wanted to mention. Caroline for the Love of Crochet had asked if I could mention what kind of yarns that I use for my projects, and I completely forgot. And I was hoping to remember, but I don't. This is why I need to have a journal, write my notes down, and have everything in front of me. Otherwise, I can't do anything impromptu. So everything that I used for the Animal Crossing patterns, each of those have been used with a 3.5mm e-hook and the Hobby Lobby I Love This Cotton yarn in various colors. I don't have the colors readily available because some of the some of the balls have been used up and I don't keep my ball bands, and so I don't have the exact color, but if I can research them and find them out, I will try to link them down below in case you want to see that. So yeah, moving forward, I'm hoping, cross my fingers, to include that type of information. Yeah. And let me know down below in the description if there's anything else that you'd like me to mention in the videos that I'm excluding or missing. That would greatly help me and all of you. Okay, so that is it for my finished objects, but I do have more minis. I ran out of Crojo, and so I meandered a little bit and ended up making more minis. But it's okay because it's for a good cause, and it's for sweet Miss Crystal at Chronically Crocheting and for the kids. They're for the kids. So I did a good deed this week.
I also enjoyed it too.
Hey, if you're doing a good deed and you're enjoying it, there's nothing wrong with that. So my first little mini of this week is the Mario star, right? What do you call this?
It's a Mario star.
It's a Mario star. And this pattern is by Ami Amor here on YouTube. And again, whatever information that I have available, I will link down below. But this was super easy and quick, and it's free. And look, it fits in the palm of my hand. And also the detail here of the eyes in white are hand painted by Miko herself with acrylic paints. And this black part is stitched with 3-weight black yarn. So yeah, I may be making more of these only because they're very simple. And I'm hoping that many kids are still into Mario. I think it's cool. All right, my second mini is this little Mario mushroom. 1-up, is it?
I think so. I haven't played
One
Mario
up,
in a while.
ching ching. I don't know, something like that.
Isn't that what happens when you get a coin?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know.
But I remember seeing this slide across the screen though, doesn't it?
Does it?
I don't know. Or it comes out of the block and then you
Yeah,
go and you
that's
grab
what
it and then
happens.
anyways. So this is the Mario mushroom, and this is also from Ami Amor here on YouTube, and it's a free tutorial, and it fits really nicely in the palm of my hands, and it wasn't too bad. And so it too has a lot of felt details. And so what I do with my felt shapes is I cut the shape out of regular paper first, and then I will pin it like either a binder clip or those clippies that you use for sewing. I will clip it on, and then I will cut around the felt. And I find that it helps me to get much more consistent and better looking cutout felt by hand. It's a little more difficult when I have smaller details like on the other Amis with the little tiny noses that are like smaller than the size of my pinky nail. Those I can't exactly, so I'm just kind of holding it with my little pin, and I'm cutting around it as best I can. So, but that's my technique for cutting out these guys. I know you can also cut out felt in your Cricut machine if you have one. I do happen to have one, but I just haven't dabbled in that realm of cutting felt with my Cricut machine just yet. I know it's easier with your Cricut Maker, which I don't have, but I know that there are hacks to cut your felt with the regular Cricut Explorer machine. So I will have to experiment with that one day and maybe let you guys know what happens with that. But yeah, Mario mushroom I may make more of these. We'll see. My third mini is this Pokemon ball. So last week, I believe, I had a teeny tiny one, like about this size. I should have brought it with me.
I think it's in here.
So I made a super tiny one, and it was from Louis from the Club Crochet. Thank you. And it is significantly smaller, but I much enjoyed this one. And so what I was saying last week is Louis from the Club Crochet does a half color change technique. And with that technique, you can do these somewhat straight lines for the color changes, as opposed to here, if you look on this amigurumi, this used regular color changes. And it's more of a jaggedy look, is how I would describe it. And the half color change gives you much more of a straighter line. And to me, I found that very difficult to combine the small, teeny tiny size of this amigurumi and the half color change technique. I found it very difficult. So if I were to be honest, I would say I prefer making this pattern over this one. So if I were to make more Pokemon balls, I will return to this pattern. So I learned of this pattern from Terry, from watching Terry from the Yarn Joy podcast, and she made this as one of her backpack buddies one week. And that's how I found out about this pattern. And I visited the blog or website, and it is from Little Yarn Friends, and it's free. We all love free patterns, and it fits in the palm of my hand, and it wasn't too bad, and it was way easier than Louis' little tiny Pokeball. So if I'm gonna make more, I'm gonna make more of these, and it still fits nicely in the palm of my hand. So that's that. Okay, my last minis is these Koopa shells. They too are from Mario Brothers, Mario. And they're super tiny, look it. They're so cute. So this pattern is from Louis, the Club Crochet. Making the actual pieces weren't too bad. Oh, and it's a YouTube tutorial here, and I will have it linked down below. Making the shell part wasn't too bad. Making the bottom shell part wasn't too bad. And making this white border, not too bad. The most challenging part of it all was the assembly, when you're sewing all 3 parts together in one step. At first I was like, I hate this sewing, which is probably why I have a lot of VFOs, because I'm trying to skip out and bail out on the sewing, which is towards the tail end. So that's why they're 99.9% complete, right? But I think they're so cute. Look, they're so cute. You can even like flick them across the room. Like I can totally see kids just flicking them.
You can
throwing
at the room. You can toss them around,
throwing them at each other. I don't know. I just thought it was so cute that I bit the bullet and I made more, even though I hate the sewing. So I made 2, and then I'm going to make 5 total. So there are 3 with all of their parts in here. I just need to assemble and sew them together. So I'm gonna just suck it up and sew it up. So I said that I wasn't very productive this week as far as attacking the UFOs, but I have been very busy crocheting.
her own projects, her own side projects.
Again, this is for a good cause. So if you watched my second video, I believe, I had a very tall fairy doll. She had wings, super long hair, red hair, and I mentioned that she's gonna go to a silent auction at a community place where my daughter takes lessons. And they're doing a silent auction for fundraiser, and so I already delivered the fairy and she's there safe and sound. But I wanted to make another one, slip one in there somehow. And so I cheated and I started a new project and I made this doll.
It's for a good purpose, of course. This is coming from a crochet
Her name
addict.
is Camila, and the pattern comes from Little by Little. I found her on Etsy, and she's looking super cute. So she's supposed to be a ballerina doll, and I believe I started her on Thursday, and it's Sunday, and this is how far I got. I've got to give her her hair, and I don't know what you call that, the dress part or whatever, her outfit with her little tutu and her ballerina shoes. So that's what she's missing. But I will try to post a picture of what she's supposed to look like somewhere on the screen here. But yeah, she's coming along swimmingly. So, but my deadline to donate for this fundraiser is tomorrow. So I only have all of today and whatever time I can squeeze in tomorrow for crochet to do her hair, clothes, and shoes. So wish me luck, and hopefully if I remember, I will take either a video shot or pictures of her before I donate her, because I have really bad memory and I'm really bad about taking pictures, and I loathe taking pictures, but we will see. Wish me luck. So if you've been paying attention, I actually had 9 things that I showed today. So that's not too bad. But again, even though I only made 4, it doesn't matter how many I finished. I am getting a step closer to my goal, which is eventually finishing all these UFOs. And I know that I'm not gonna finish all of these by the end of this month, which is what I'm trying to attempt to do. But if I don't get to it by the end of this month, I will continue to tackle them and hopefully finish them by the end of this year. So hopefully stick around and keep watching to see our adventures. And I want to thank you all again for visiting and subscribing and commenting. And you guys are so encouraging and so sweet in your comments. And I just really appreciate you and thank you. So thank you very much for spending your time with us, and I hope you continue to watch us and enjoy our videos. So until next time, have a fun crafty week.